today we'll be looking at whether or not wording in a game matters. Now, you might be thinking, well, it does, doesn't it? Or, I know it does. You don't tell me. That's fine. There's some people who don't actually know if it does or doesn't, because there are some small differences that do change the outcome of the use of an ability. And League of Legends is a good example if I have the character. So his is a bit here and there. As you can see here and here, these are the two we're basically going to compare. So if you see here, this is his E. And his E is a teleport. So he goes, Ezreal teleports, then fires a bolt at the nearest enemy, dealing so much damage. The bolt prioritizes enemies afflicted by Essence Flux. So anything that was affected by this, and then it prioritizes them. So that's why you W onto something, it will, and you jump to them, it'll prioritize that. Now, as you can see here, it says teleports to. Now, this isn't very specific, so it doesn't actually tell you that. It's like, wait a second, why did he only jump short range? Well, if you see here, that's why I got the circle on it. It doesn't really specify in this ability, but it teleports to cursor or mouse location. So that's why it's got the radius on it. Now, if it was teleport to direction, then it wouldn't matter where my cursor was, because it would always jump at max range. So if I'm at the edge of the radius, see here, that's the max radius on this side, then anything above there would be, direction, because it doesn't matter where I would be because I'm outside of it. So it would always be the max, but then it would be it didn't be directional. So I want to go here, and it always goes to the very edge of it, and that's why it will never go in between this point here and here. So I can go here. I can go here, I can go even here, but it'll always be inside this circle. There's also a good reason why people fail this ability here. As you can see, it says on this one, teleports your champion a short distance towards your cursor's location. I think before it used to be location, which was a bit off-putting, because that was like, everyone was like, I've got to flash at max, because no one really flashes at anything less than max. So that's why some people fail, as you can see here. You won't go any further, but if you do that, it's the cursor. There are some points where you don't need to do it. There's a bit of like a quote unquote like buggy areas that you don't need to put your cursor all the way on the other side of the max, where the circle is, to actually get over the wall. So I can put it about there, and I don't need to put it all the way through. But it's always best to, if you're not too sure in this situation, especially because it's quite a thick wall, to put it at the very edge of the radius, or just at the max range, just past it, which would be then the direction. If it did say direction, there would be no sort of... It might give you a radius, so you know how, but it would probably be like... Maybe it would actually give you a circle, but it would never be probably filled in, because it would just be at max all the time if it was the direction which you're going to point the cursor at. So if it was max direction all the time, there would be no inner blue, as you see, because the entire blue is that point where you can flash at. So I can flash right next to myself, or I can flash over there, which is the max from here to here. So that's what it means by cursor location instead of the direction. The direction is basically beyond this point pretty much. So you're always going to flash at the max point. So there's a few things to take into consideration, because I was talking to a few people and they're like, did you know the difference between direction and cursor location? I was like, no, it's the same thing, right? It's like, well, not really. Not really. Luckily, that's just the closest thing. It also says, enemy as well. That means anything that opposes you, even jungle camp, it'll prioritize, unless it's got the essence flux on it. So it's always good to read in-game what your abilities do. It's always not everyone's fond of reading a paragraph of what an ability does. But it's pretty good idea to read what your abilities do, and the wording as well. It's just really good to take, careful consideration of. Because if this said direction and not cursor location, then it wouldn't matter where I did it, because it'll always flash at max range. Same with the E. I think the E is a bit bigger than... Yeah, it's a bit bigger, but not much. So, and you've also got to understand about not just the wording in some of these, but for this one, it's instant. For this one, you see how it has a delay on it. So it's not always just the wording, some of it is also taking consideration of what's actually occurring in game. So reading is half the thing that tells you what the ability does. Testing out for yourself is the next step, and then realizing, well, that's not instant, and that is. And also, this helps people understand that that's got a max radius, and then also that the E is slightly bigger than the F. See, that's the E, F, E, F, E, F. The radius is different. A bit more range on the E, but it's got a bit of time delay. So that's what you have to notice. It doesn't always tell you everything. It doesn't say Ezreal teleports to your cursor location for this one. It just says, then fires a bolt. So it teleports within this radius, but normally people would always teleport the max range inside the circle. So, and also, people always flash generally at the max as well. Some don't. Sometimes people, try and fake it out. Not everyone can, but it's always good to get a good understanding. Like, this is a summoner spell, flash. This is an ability on a champion. Very similar in a sense of how they both work. Like one visually is a teleport, and one's an instant locational movement of your champion. But they have very similar sort of concept behind it. So yeah, I would always make sure you read what your ability actually does instead of assuming what it does. Because I've seen a lot of people walk up to a wall and do this. And then only until they walk like very, very, very closely or right up next to it does it work. Or they, mess up and they end up doing that. And it's like, flash failed. Because they don't understand that it's cursor location and it's not the direction. But yeah, I think that's going to be it from me, guys. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are a bit more understanding of just like what the game's abilities can do. Especially, this is actually quite a bit of a common one. I'd say people don't understand that in League of Legends, flashing is cursor location until you go to the max point of it. Then it's basically direction. But it still is the cursor location. It's just that it's beyond, the radius is all. So at that point, it doesn't matter because you're always going to be flashing at the max. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and goodbye.